We're on the brink of an amazing period in history. Since 1826, the year Nicephore Niepce took the first photograph, there's been a steady progression of technologies that record language, technologies with close narrative kinship to reading and writing. Unfortunately, photography, the phonograph, film, and their subsequent offspring are usually classed as entertainment media, not as legitimate examples of language record. Maybe that's because non-written records haven't been around as long as reading and writing, as if the measure of time confers legitimacy. Whatever the reason, these newer narrative formats are powerful language systems in their own right. A good documentary film, for instance, inserts the viewer into contextual reality in a way no page of text could ever do. By contrast, pure text carries the promise of the highest info resolution possible. A picture may be worth 1,000 words. It's also true, a simple sentence might be worth 1,000 pictures. So, what if you threw text, audio, video, animation, illustration, and whatever else you've got into a single super narrative? Would it work? Theoretically, yes. And we've got a few fledgling traditions that prove it. For generations, we've placed illustrations and photographs on pages of text. The combination definitely enhances reader perception. What about the addition of other media types? Well, technically speaking, you can add video and audio to digital text, and theoretically, each should bring its special strength to the mix. Here's the problem. When you place narrative streams side by side, they tend to fight for your attention. They've been constructed according to rules of eminence, which is to say, they're made to shine on their own, according to the best editorial principles of their class. So the fact that you can actually assemble them in a narrative mashup doesn't necessarily elevate the result. Is there any way the various narrative formats can be made to work together? Well, that's exactly where we are in history. We're about to find out. In the last few years, we've stepped onto a path that forces us to redefine the rules of narrative. Amazon's Kindle gave us a contemplative form factor. We needed that. It was followed by the technically robust iPad and a host of other fluent delivery platforms. These new frames invite us to reinvent, reconstruct, and rediscover language. With the hardware in place, vanguard companies like Vuk have thrown themselves into the hunt for blended narrative. Media stories like The Peddler Lady hint at just how dynamic the age of digital literature will be. But the real piece of the puzzle is the one that enables those who create narrative, writers, filmmakers, artists, to jump the technical barriers that surround hybridized authoring. A challenge software formats like Blio and companies like Quark have engaged head-on. We're on the brink of a hybrid grammar, a compound narrative that builds on our best traditions and histories but drives us to heightened perception through a single narrative voice. A voice of knowledge, but hopefully a voice of wisdom too. A brink, and if we're really lucky, a new way to think.